Secretary General of the Association of European Border Regions, Guillermo-Ramirez. Welcome to our Mediabox.
Thank you very much.
We know that your association is a long-standing partner of the Congress. And what are the priority areas of common interest where the two institutions can enhance their cooperation?
Well, in general, it's about focusing on border regions. We have a very strong approach to internal EU border regions, but we have members also at the external borders of the EU and beyond. So one of the priorities in our work with the Congress is to focus in those non-EU border regions where they have less programs of support and they have much more challenges. So in this case, we are trying to develop together different tools and programs and mechanisms to support them.
And also it's important to highlight that during the Congress plenary session, there was a debate on the border regions facing migration phenomena, and you also take a place in this debate. So what are the challenges inherent in these migration phenomena that the border regions have to address today?
Well, there are plenty. Actually, this is a major issue. But first of all is to try to convince the rest of Europeans that we are talking about a phenomenon and not about a problem. Migration could be a challenge, but it's something which is there and will stay forever. And actually, it was there since ever, because we had the chance to discuss with some of the colleagues in the meeting today that we all are migrants, if we consider this in historical terms. And even Europe used to be a continent which was producing a lot of migration for different reasons. Now we are receiving these migrants, and this is the game. On the other hand, we have to think that in the turn of 20 or 30 years, due to the demographic change in Europe, if we don't receive some migration, we may have a problem of workforce and even to have people who are able to pay our pensions. So even on a shellfish point of view, it will be very important. But anyway, one of the most important challenges is also to support the development of the countries of origin, because at the end, a forced migration is a disaster for the person who is migrating, if it is not doing voluntarily, but also it's a disaster for the country of origin, because they are losing their best citizens. So we have to find a way in which we can promote the development of the countries of origin, to have a good exchange of measures in order to absorb part of this population who wants to migrate, and to explain the European citizens that we are not talking about something that is going to damage our services, but something that is going to make much more rich our own cities or countries.
And in your opinion, what policy measures should be adopted by the border regions, especially to involve all stakeholders to this phenomenon?
Well, here is mostly has to do with this so-called multi-level governance, understood as in the wider sense. That means that immigration issues cannot be as something which is only managed or controlled, let's say, by the nation states. Of course, nation states have more of the policy fields in their portfolio, but also the regions and the municipalities. So we need to have a vertical coordination of the governance. We also need a horizontal one in both senses, in the sense of across the border. It's very important for their own development, for tackling migration issues, for anything, to coordinate efforts with our neighbors, particularly when we are talking about communities which are neighboring and they have shared resources, problems, or opportunities. This is very important. But also we have to think that in this conception of multi-level governance that we want to develop, there is also a place for not only for politicians, but also for the civil society, for the academia, and even for the private sector. So we are talking about a kind of new social contract in which we can discuss the development of border regions together with all stakeholders, and also issues like migration, environment, sustainable development goals, all these issues that some citizens think that this belongs only to the debates of the big summits, but at the end they affect our lives.
Yes, sure, absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Guillermo-Ramirez.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.